to Google. Hey look, country. World of Warcraft. That's an orc. Feel like Frogger. I had some of these MP3 players back. That was, you know, when you first had tape players and then CD players and then the MP3, the digital format. There's the original Walkman. I had one of those.
Yours look like this black one right here.
Yep. A little bit bigger, but yeah.
Bigger. Same.
You probably had a disc one.
I did.
Yep.
Actually, I may have had that exact one.
Yeah.
Or one very, very, very similar.
I had the Walkman.
I had a Walkman.
Yeah. I'm surprised. You had tapes, because you were right at that threshold where you're switching to CDs. Oh, that's cool. You can hear the difference, the sound quality.
So you have to guess which one's which.
Oh. That's better quality. Grandpa used to do all that with punch cards. Sigico.
Hey, welcome to the Computer History Museum 1401, IBM 1401 Laboratory. When you came through that door, you entered a time warp back to the 1960s. So these computers were made in the 1960s. My name's Scott Stoddard. I worked for IBM for 30 years. I was reading the newspapers and I saw that IBM was hiring. So I applied at IBM and they hired me. And we developed a programming language called a programming language, or APL. You may have heard that, I don't know.
My name is Jack Caselli. In 1964, I really needed a job. And I saw in the paper an ad for something called a computer programmer. I had no idea what that was. Never seen a computer. I went in to interview and they said, well, you don't have any experience, but you know what? Nobody else does either, right? Well, it turns out almost nobody else. Scott did, but he was one of the very, very few guys who did. So I got a job learning on the job to program a computer exactly like this. When people go in our main exhibit, they often, you hear them go, oh, an Apple II, that was my first computer. Or they'll say, a Commodore. Ooh, that was, well, this is my first computer, so I just love this one.
The 1401 was announced in 1959, and the first deliveries were in 1960. Now, for reference, that was the year that John F. Kennedy was elected President of the United States. It was a big improvement over unit record equipment. So where I'm standing to the rail there, that's unit record equipment. And the unit record they're talking about is an 80-column card. So some of you may have experience with an 80-column card. Yes, I see a lot of people shaking their head, yes. Okay, so the cards, this box could contain 2,000 cards in it. One of the customers was Time Life Incorporated back in New York City. And they had a warehouse. They had, it was like 40 million cards. And so they had to have a warehouse to store them in. Down at the end here, we have 3 IBM 026 key punches. Now, they're called key punches because they have keyboards and they punch holes in cards. So in a vertical column, it has punches that represent one letter or one number or one special character. So 80 columns, you can have 80 bits of information in it. Okay, so usually the people that worked on these key punches were women. Okay, PG&E in San Francisco had one floor that had 100 women doing key punching.
So right before your eyes, our volunteer is going to be trained. So this is a key punch machine. These are the blank cards. This is the punch station. This is the keyboard. So, and you've never done this before, right? No. Okay, she insists she hasn't. So what I want you to do is feed a blank card. Push the feed button. And then we need to register it under, so push the register button. Now what I'd like you to do is type your first name, space bar, and last name. Everything is uppercase. Look how fast she's going. This is why they use women. Because, okay, now release here, and register, and release again, and register one more time. So here is the card that Dilbear punched. And here is her name. Does that look right to you? So these holes are her name encoded as holes in the card that the computer can read. Now, nicely for human beings like you and me, there's also a printing device on there. So here is your name printed. In 1960, what did it pay, Scott?
Something like 85 cents an hour.
Yeah, something. So
if you want to fall back
to have a backup career. So thank you.
So these cards that you saw in the warehouse, the picture of the warehouse, they had to be sorted differently for different jobs. If you were going to run payroll, you wanted to sort it by the employee number probably. Could be social security number or any different number. And if you were running inventory, you needed to sort it on the product number. So this was a big deal. You had, if they had a warehouse full of cards and you had to sort, you maybe had to sort it on a bunch of columns. This took a while. So would you show us, Jack, how you sort cards?
Sure. This device is the IBM Model 83 card sorter. So if you had a deck of cards, we're going to use a little one, not a big one like that. But here's a deck of cards. It isn't in sequence, and we want to put it in sequence. Well, as Scott explained, there are 80 columns, and we can sort on one digit. So only one column, one of the digits. So we'll put the cards in here. We'll select the column here that we want to sort on. I'm going to sort on column 25, and we hit the start button. All the cards with a 0 digit go in the 0 pocket. The ones with a 1 go in the 1's pocket, 2's, and so on. It runs at 1,000 cards a minute.
2,000 cards. Going to take you 2 minutes for one pass. And then you have to do these other 5 passes or however many there are. So it was quite time consuming. Okay, so from where I am here down to where Jack is, that's one IBM system, one 1401 system. Okay, there. So I had a printer and a CPU, a central processing unit, and a card reader.
So we have an app that's been previously loaded. Anybody have apps on your computer, on your phone? Here's an app. Here's an app for the 1401. So guess what? It's in cards like, so we had to load this earlier. What this app does, it reads data cards with names in them, like the one our wonderful volunteer produced. So we're going to take the card she punched, put it in here as a hopper. This is the card reader that's going to send the data in. So the app has read the data, the name card. It's being computed there, and the output will come on the printer. Actually, maybe we'll move everybody down a little bit, because the action will be down here from now on. Come on, move down a little bit.
You see her name printed in large characters. A big selling point for the 1401 system. So it prints 600 lines a minute, or basically that's 10 pages a minute. And with a laser printer, that's not bad today, right? 10 pages a minute. Okay, so it has a train here that has, this train has 5 copies of the character set. They're all capital letters, but it has 5 copies of it. Now, with an old typewriter, it had a print bar, a type bar that would fly up and hit the ribbon and drive the ribbon into the paper. Okay, we do it somewhat differently than that. We have behind the paper are 132 little hammers, or little electric hammers, and when this rotates at about 95 inches a second, okay, and so what we do is when the desired character is in front of the hammer, it fires and it pushes the paper into the ink ribbon, into the character slot behind it to make an image of the character. Okay, so this was really an advance in printers. This was a big selling point for 1403. One of the nice things about this is this rotates horizontally. Okay, a lot of the competitors, they had a type bar that went up and down, or a print wheel that went around vertically. And when things weren't perfect, I would get a magazine subscription that had my name on it and address, and it was wavy. Okay, it didn't look very professional. This one, since it rotates horizontally, it's all aligned perfectly horizontally. Now, the human eye isn't that sensitive to being a little squished up together or a little bit further apart. And so the print quality was another big selling point of the 1403. Before this, computers had vacuum tubes. Okay, in vacuum tubes, they have to heat a filament, okay, much like an incandescent light bulb. And so they're not that reliable because these filaments burn out just like a light bulb does, right? And once in a while, your computer stops working because the vacuum tube filament burned out. Okay, so with IBM here, they wanted to get rid of that vulnerability. And so they came out with SMS cards. So these cards have transistors. This is a solid state rather than an electronic tube. And it has resistors, capacitors, and diodes on it. These were put on these cards called standard modular system cards, okay, or SMS cards for short. And they're soldered in. So the things that look like little cans, those are transistors. Okay, so these were very reliable. And they have about 3,000 of these SMS cards in a 1401 central processing unit. And that in total is about 10,000 transistors. I mean, this is very reliable. Now you probably wonder, how do we get the information from the card reader to the central processing unit where it works on it, and get it over to the printer? So for that, we have to have some kind of a cable. So does anybody recognize this? A USB cable, that's right. Do you know what the S in USB stands for? Serial, right. Yes, okay, so with your computer now, you push this in and it sends the bits one at a time. Serialized means bits one at a time. So now processing power is cheap. This is a good idea. Back in 1960, that requires circuits to do it. Well, circuits were expensive. Those SMS cards didn't come for free. Okay, so what they did was instead of serializing the information, they sent it in parallel. So, Jack, would you show them?
Sure, I've got a 1401 USB cable right here. And to be fair, as Scott explained, this is not a serial cable. It's a parallel cable with about 150, 200 pairs of wires. But this is an example of the trade-off between less electronics and more connectors, which is different today than it was for the 1401. Every 1401 computer room had one of these, but they didn't save the world. Instead, what they used to open up the floor you're standing on, the raised floor, and beneath the floor are these cables Scott was explaining. The black cables are power and the gray cables are signal, and they go all around.
And it also has air conditioning under the core. You can see where it comes out on a cold pole. Okay, so now we need to talk about memory. So the 1401, the memory came in bits of 4K. That's 4,000 bytes. So 4,000 bytes could fit in the central processing unit. Or it's hard for you to see, but there's a little thing about a box about as high as a washing machine, or there's one over there. You may be able to see the one over there easier. That's about as high as a little washing machine, and that would hold the rest of your memory. So the maximum 1401 could have was 16K. So you could have 4 here, and another 4 or 8 or 12 in that hole. Can you imagine being limited to 16,000 bytes? I mean, how much does your laptop have? So it's got at least 16 gigabytes, right? Okay, gigabytes. That's not millions, that's billions, right? So a laptop or any computer that has 16 gigabytes, that's a million times more than the 1401 had. So they had to be very careful about storage usage. Now, of course, the price of storage went down very precipitously, right? But so there's a big evolution between computers at this time till today, right? So the memory, it's in little, I would call them little iron donuts, but they're made of iron ferrite, and they're these little things. So I'll give you a vial of these to pass down. So it's towards the center. And here's what they look like where they're wired together. So you can see these tiny copper wires. They go between the little donuts, or they go through the little donuts. So if the current goes one way, it magnetizes the donut in one direction. And if the current goes the other way, it magnetizes the donut in the other direction, meaning a 0. So one way it's 1, the other way it's a 0. Boxes of cartridges, 2,000 in one. That was a problem. Not everybody could afford to have a warehouse to store their data, and so we needed to have magnetic tapes.
Magnetic tapes were one of the features of the IBM 1401 that really was a jump from the old card handling systems. We used a regular medium. It's the same medium you're familiar with if you ever remember these things. VHS tapes, beta tapes. It's Mylar, very cost-effective. They make miles, hundreds of miles of this, so it's very cheap. inexpensive. And except these digital tape drives record data as magnetic spots. On a reel of tape like this reel, the tape is a ½ inch, or for you real people, 13 millimeters wide. And there's about a ½ a mile, or about 600 meters of tape on here. A reel could hold perhaps 12 megabytes, depending on the recording options. Here are the actual drives. Here are two of them that are working today. One of the things that's interesting about this is that the tape, this is the read-write head. The tape goes by the read-write head very fast, about 6 feet or about 2 meters a second. Really goes by, but it only goes in short chunks. Well, if we pulled the tape at 2 meters a second, it would snap. So what happens is these drives are built with buffers, mechanical buffers called vacuum columns. This is the feed reel, this is the take-up reel. So the tape comes off here, goes down in this buffer, then it gets yanked past the read-write head and goes down here, and then the take-up reel. If you watch this, you notice a funny thing. The feed reel or the take-up reel don't move together. They move asynchronously, depending on how the read-write happens. So these were much more reliable than some other drives that you can see out in our Revolution exhibit, but very, very useful. Just like with Blockbuster, what was the last thing you had to do? Rewind. So we could rewind at this speed, but we really would like to have a higher speed rewind. So here you can see the read-write head will open, so we don't need these vacuum columns, and it can rewind at a much faster speed. When it gets close to the front of the tape, of course, it slows down and gets back to the slow speed rewind. And those are the tape drives.
Okay, so you may wonder, how successful was the 1301 data processing system? Well, it was quite successful. IBM had made a forecast, and they thought they might be able to sell 5,000 of them over the lifetime of the computer. After 5 weeks, they had something about like 5,200 orders. So the problem wasn't in selling them, it was in delivering, manufacturing and delivering them, because everybody seemed to want them. Okay, over the life of the system, there were about 15,000 IBM 1401 systems installed in the world. It was 50% of the computers in the world. So 15,000 was a big success for IBM. Okay, I'm going to release you now from the 60s back to the year 2023.
That's how it all started, with trying to do calculations under. That's what the ancient, ways of trying to count numbers, keep track of them. They used to use abacus to do it. See how he's doing it on the thing there. And then they advanced to mechanical calculators. Here's how some of the mechanical calculators work. Turn a gear, tabulate, accumulator wheel. Did you hear about Charles Babbage? Did they teach you about him? Okay. You probably want to learn about that later. Babbage engine. punch cards in that punch card machine right there. It's the same one they showed and the same one Grandpa used to use, I think. Pretty similar to it. Well, that must be a processor. That's a mess. Magnetic drum digital differential analyzer.
If you unplug one of those wires, it might take forever to find another.
Yes. Yep.
It would probably take a year to build.
Oh, yeah.
This is NEX.
The ENIAC back of it, I guess. Yeah, look at the vacuum tubes, Hunter. Big fat vacuum tubes. Imagine if your computer was this size.
It wouldn't fit in the house. Steam, like sometime in 1890.
Yeah, that probably.
Looks like a tube.
Norden bomb sight. That's how they actually hit the targets, using a complicated, like a mechanical computer, basically. Yes, that's why it looks familiar. 360. This is what that picture we have of Grandpa in the computer room, this is what he's operating.
To support old or obsolete systems. Work documents.
Strings of zeros and ones. On and off. A binary command an individual computer circuit can understand.
Oh yeah, Cray. Supercomputer. PDP-8. The early one. This is Moore's Law, so this is how fast processors sped up. Look at that. From the year 2000, how fast they got, then 2005, 2006, 2010, and off the chart. So that's why your computers are able to do incredible things today. it really advanced. Furby.
Terrifying.
Hey, Daddy, you
What?
think I can buy one of those robots?
I doubt it.
No robot dad.
I remember when that 2000, that one was for sale.
Robot dog?
Crazy expensive. No, the
R2D2?
no, this Tommy Omnibot 2000. Pong. There's Pong. Hey, you can play Pong. Get ready. I used to play this. You move him back and forth in the little thing. There you go. Hit it, Grayson. Yep. Hunter, you gotta catch it. Oh, you fell.
We got it. I will.
That green one's what my dad had in the basement, but it was blue. We had two of them. I had one of those too. And that. I had that. I feel old. That was a memory game. That was a football game. Okay. You probably had some of these.
I don't know if we had a Super Nintendo. We had the original one.
Oh, yeah, the
They don't
8-bit.
have that.
Yeah. That's the 8-bit.
Yeah, we had that one.
Yep. And then the Game Boy. I spent many hundreds of hours on those things. So you probably did too. You know, this was the very first video game. Yeah. Oh. You played the very first video game ever. That's it? Cell phones, mobile computers, cell phones.
Hey, look, R2D2.
It's a mini, whatever this is. Can't see it.
Oh wow. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. That's Google's rack, 1999. I remember GoTo. I remember Alta Vista. Yep, I remember doing that. Pine, Gopher. Yep, CompuServe. Wow, that's pretty advanced there. What I said. Oh, I remember doing that. Yep. Oh, encyclopedias.
Like on hypertext.
technology